Welcome to another video for the channel, and if you're new to the channel, please consider liking and subscribing. Keep the channel alive. Anyways, I have a website right here being hosted locally using XAMPP, and what this video is about is just to add to my playlist about the resources and configurations of your PHP if you're going to be hosting locally. Now, why do I host locally? Why should people host locally? So in case you want to create a project but you don't really have the funding, or you want to create a project offline without the access of the internet, you'll be able to do it anywhere if you have your own personal computer. What you could do, just use XAMPP. There's other tools you could use, but just host locally. Build your website and then you export it, transfer it to the website or your purchase domain of GoDaddy, hosting, Namecheap, and so on. Now, this video I'll be working on the resources. So if I go to here on my XAMPP cPanel, control panel, you'll see I have Apache running, HTTP, and 443 will be SSL. And here you have the MySQL ports right here. So if you have anything different than that, then therefore your hosting will really be moving slow. It will be really lagging for some reason. Now, if I click on admin here, it will bring me to my admin here, which is my local host, or 127.0.0.1, and the dashboard. If I click on PHP info, it'll bring me over here. And what really I'm interested in is the core. The core right here, you give me the resources that I actually require, and I can see all the resources in one instead of going and scroll. Now, back on my XAMPP here, if I click on config, and I click on php.ini, it will open up this file for me. Now I have it opened already because I really don't be scrolling and look for it, or do Control F and search for the word like max. Now what's going on here, you have your resource limits, and your resource limits are usually not commented. They're always not commented. So my max execution time, which is by default 60 seconds, will be how long the page could load without having an error. Now the page usually loads by default 60 seconds. By put it as 120 seconds, but I think I'll just put 100. So something above 60 seconds will say that the page takes too long to load, and it will send an error on your browser and show you that the resource limit has been met of 60 seconds. So I'll leave it as 100. The max input time will be the maximum time that it will take so that you could send information from a form or from your URL or cookies into wherever it's going to be processed. And if it takes over 60 seconds, therefore it will send you an error, and then you have to resend the form information or re-enter it. I will leave it like that, 60 seconds, because in the first place it should not even be taking quite a long time. Now I will be leaving all those commented like that. I will leave them commented. So max input variables, here it says that you can send a maximum of 1,000 variables. Variables will be things like strings, which is text, numbers, yeah, these kind of things, characters, all these kind of things will be variables, and they could also be met from, or also be derived from forms, your URL, or from cookies, which is here. So here you have get, you have post from the forms, and you have cookies. Now I will be leaving like that, so by default it will send as much as it wants and not limited to 1,000. So here you can see I have my memory limit of 512 megabytes, and that's back in the Stone Age. 512 is really bad. So since I'm using my local machine, I can now put in more resources to XAMPP, and what I will do, I will multiply 512 by 2 if I really want probably like 1024. But I don't want 1024, which is 1024 megabytes. I don't want that. What I would really do is I just put it as 2000. So right here I have 2 gigs of RAM going towards my memory for my website. Now if you're hosting off a paid hosting service, let's say like GoDaddy, or I use Namecheap, which is my favorite, They actually limit the amount of resources that you could actually have available to your website. So if you have like a stellar service on Namecheap, and Namecheap is definitely not sponsoring this video, but this is the one I use for all my clients and myself. It's really easy to use, and any issues that their ticket services work really fast, really easy, very well. So if I have a Namecheap right here, it will give me like I think it's probably like 1,000 megabytes, which is 1 gig of RAM, or probably 2 gigs. And if I find that the website moves slow, I will really have to go to VPS, a virtual really can't remember the name right here, but I will go to a VPS services, like up step or step up my hosting from Stellar to a higher hosting services on Namecheap, and then I can have more RAM available and so on. But the main thing I need to change right here is really the max post size isn't an issue. I'll leave it as that. I really had to just change my memory limit and my execution time. Here you can have max file uploads. The max file uploads always could be found in the file right here. So if I search for max file uploads, what it really does is you can have a certain amount of files being uploaded in one form input or one form submit. But let's scratch that off. I think I'll change that at a different time. Yeah, we're reaching at a different time. Really don't really have time for it. But yes, if you want to get your max file uploads, you can go inside here in your php.ini file, and you can change your max file uploads, and you will use this right here to enable any PHP extensions. Now I will save this. I'll close it. I'll go back to XAMPP. I will stop Apache. I don't need to stop MySQL. Then I will restart Apache. If you have any errors also, you will see it coming here in the logs below. Really quite live and direct. If you have any issues as to why your Apache don't start, could be a hosting issue, and everything will be said right here. So right here my HTTP is working and my 443 with SSL is working. If I reload this, here you can clearly now see that I have a memory limit of 2000 M. You can now see my execution time is 100 seconds, and everything else that I've changed has been changed. Well, that's it for this video. Sub to the channel. Thanks for watching. In the next video, I'll be going directly into the plugins that everyone is really waiting for. So see you in the next video.